Hello everyone, I want to make this video talking about what I think will happen with the March 15th end stake of 1.5 billion hex tokens. Now, since the beginning of the year, there's been significant end stakes. When people first heard about hex in 2020, they were unsure about the future. And though some staked for multiple years, the majority staked for just a year or even less than a year, just to test the waters. And that's apparent with a lot of end stakes coming out since January 2021 to now. There will be a few more end stakes that are significant in April. I believe there's two for about 500,000 tokens each, or 500 million tokens each. But it's still honestly a drop in the bucket with what's already been end stake, and some of the new stakes that have been created for the next 5, 10, 15 years. But nonetheless, it has drawn a lot of chatter in the community into what may happen. There's a lot of uncertainty. What is certain, though, is that this end stake, to put it into layman terms, will slightly reduce the value of staking from here on out. Now, it's minor, but it's also the reason why I just staked over 200 hex tokens for the next 10 years today. It's because I know that getting my stake in before this end stake is going to make these stakes slightly more valuable. And the better T-share rate I can get, the better yield I can get, I will take it, because I believe in the longevity of this project. So what do we know so far? Well, there's been a lot of there's been some rumors into what this entity can be. As you know, on the blockchain, you can view everyone's addresses, and some take it upon themselves to be whale watchers by monitoring addresses and connecting the dots to figure out what their behavior may be and who they are. So this large end stake that's coming out on the 15th, it's supposedly 3Arrow Capital. Now, on this end stake that they've staked for, I believe, exactly 1 year, they've effectively turned about 20 to 30,000 into $8 million, with hex just going for it less than a penny. Now think about that return. And if you look at their wallet history, again, in case it is 3Arrow Capital, they have stakes going out, I think even past a decade. This particular stake of 1.5 billion hex tokens was worth only between 20 to 30,000 a year ago. And today it's worth over $8 million. So what are they going to do? What is this individual likely to do? It's unknown. But here are their options. They can simply end stake and restake. They could perform good accounting. They may choose to liquidate this 1.5 billion stack of hex. One of two ways. They could either dump it on the market overnight, and with the slippage they could incur, that $8 million worth of hex will sell for, I don't know, like $1 million, $1.5 million, versus the 8 million principal it's actually worth. And that's due to the slippage and the automated market maker and the illiquidity of the Uniswap where hex is traded. Or if they would like to liquidate it, they could just spread out their bids over the next few days, weeks, or months and slowly liquidate that stack. But in my personal opinion and the research I've done in the past 2 weeks, so they may liquidate a part of it just to pull out returns and show the returns to their investors. The smart thing to do for a long-term, for a hedge fund with a long-term philosophy such as 3Arrow Capital is to restake it. So I believe they will simply mint their coins, restake it, and then all the buyers on the sideline just waiting to hop back in as soon as this end stake does whatever it wants to do. Now, no hedge fund is just dumb enough to dump their entire stack overnight. So I think that's the least. I think they'll end up restaking, and we're going to see a major rush back into HEX. And for my own technical analysis, I really do think this will spur the next all-time high. At the moment of this shooting on March 14th, we're currently sitting just below a penny. We've broken a penny last night and retraced slightly. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the market, but it's been developing a fractal. It's been consolidating, and it's been getting tighter and tighter. From here on out, I think it can only shoot up, and though we may see a short-term dip in case this entity does decide to sell a few hundred million HEX in the next few days, even if we get a dip, which will be bought up quickly, I think the next leg up is I think HEX is primed for the next leg up. I will link the interview with Suzu, who's the Chief Investment Officer at 3 Arrow Capital, in the description. He never mentions HEX, and though HEX is not on their official website, which is, I think, a good sign, because it just indicates that they haven't gone public with it. And anything that's good still being kept a secret. And as soon as they publicize it and announce it, that's when the floodgates will open. So there's no incentive for them to announce their holdings, even though they're visible on the blockchain. When they can get better dollar cost average, when they can get a better stake before publicizing it. So I recommend checking out Suzu's interview. If I remember correctly, you just need about 20 million, or I think just under 20 million, to get 100x from HEX. Versus in Bitcoin, in order to see it do 100x, which would be like an 80% price appreciation, would take hundreds of billions of dollars. So place your bets, put your money towards what you believe in, vote with your money, and let's see what HEX is going to do in the future. But at this time, I hold the opinion that this end stake will not significantly change the climate of HEX, other than it'll let all the money on the sidelines that's been anticipating this end stake rush in and just surge the price to an all-time high. So here today on March 14th, 2021, I predict that we're not going to see a dump. We're not even going to see a dip. It's just going to go parabolic. Second to that, we might see a dip and then go parabolic, but I do not see a dump at all. And if I'm incorrect, I'm open to placing bets. Nobody has taken me up on it because no one wants to bet against the most appreciating asset of mankind last year, which HEX did 352x versus US dollar. So yeah, I'm more so making this video just to document this date, document day 468, because when we look back in a year, 2, 5, 10 years, which majority of my stakes are beyond 5 years, it will be very interesting. And a lot of people will be kicking themselves for not giving HEX the respect that it deserved. None of what I said has been financial advice. I hope you subscribe and like this video, and let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen after this major end stake. The last thing I want to point out is, as I said previously, we are going to see other like 500 million hex token end stakes in April. So though we might not go parabolic, though we might not see all-time highs exactly in March and late March, I think once we get through the April end stakes, and then finally all the last bit of money on the sideline rushes into hex, you will definitely see all-time highs. And this is the beauty of the hex ecosystem. Not only is it decentralized and everything's available on the blockchain, but so are the stakes. And it's extremely transparent to see when supply is going to get unlocked. So if you look at the time after March, like literally after March 2021, after April 2021, there's very minor end stakes of like 50 to 100 million, which is like peanuts in a grand scheme of things. You know, Hex currently has a market cap of 5 billion, and with such low liquidity end stakes coming out and users being unlikely to sell at a penny, right? We're talking about a penny. I know it used to be traded for 0.0001. Actually many more zeros than that, but a penny is a psychological level that people deem, you know, inexpensive. People are still going to be buying this at 5, 10 cents, 50 cents, $1. This year, if I can just add this to the end of the video, I think the conservative estimate of where it can go from, you know, we're about 3.5 months in, and so far it's been consolidated just under a penny. So it hasn't done any X. Last year it did 352X at its peak. This year hasn't done any multiple. I think our conservative estimate that it will hit between 20 to 50 cents this year. Obviously, less likely, you know, price target would be above $1. So though it honestly has all the makings of hitting $1 in 2021, I believe realistically it'll break 20 cents, maybe break a quarter and go above, but obviously retrace and go through its cycles. So just getting in around a penny, getting in around 5-10 cents is still a bargain. And I highly recommend anyone who's still not in Hex, just have a look. Check out hex.com, check out my website, staked2wealth.com, and see if Hex is a crypto asset right for you. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you guys soon.